Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My dear students, welcome to your 7th class in your essay course. And today we're going to talk about another type of essays. As I've told you last class, we're going to talk about a different kind of essays called cause and effect essay. Cause and effect essay. Cause is the reason and effect is the result. Let's go together and try and let us study together the cause and essay. Today we're going to talk about what is cause and what is effect essay. What is cause and effect essay, and how many types we have. We have 2 types of cause and effect essay organizations. We will talk about a block organization and B, chain organization. So these are the 2 major points that we are going to talk about in this class. What is a cause and effect essay? A cause and effect essay provides reasons and explanations for events, conditions, or behaviors. Right? It involves tracing probable or known effects of a certain cause, examining one or more effects, and discussing the reasonable or known causes. So this is what we mean by a cause and effect essay. There is a reason for something and there is a result. Every reason has a result, and every result has a reason. So within the cause effect essay, we provide reasons, explanations why something happened, okay, or we provide some reasons, or actually results for some reasons. So it is either ways, either to provide some reasons for what happened, or you provide results for these reasons. Let us actually move on and see that cause and effect analyzes why something happens. Cause and effect essay analyzes why something happens. Some effects are caused by multiple causes, and some causes in turn can result in multiple results, multiple effects. So right here the causes are the reasons and the effects are the results. So some effects are caused by reasons and some reasons can result in multiple effects or multiple reasons. Every event, every action has a cause and every cause has a result. So the first slides I've tried to identify, to explain what do we mean by cause and effect essay. What does cause mean and what does effect mean? In this unit we will look at the situation, effect, and examine the reasons, the causes for it. Usually there are more than one reason for the situation. When there are many reasons, there is usually one that is most important. When there are many reasons, there should be one reason which is the most important reason among other reasons. First of all, you need to remember the following points when you write about the causes of an effect. First of all, you need to look at the possible causes and discuss them. Then you need to support all causes, give good examples about every cause, every reason, then state your most important cause list. This will make your essay more interesting. So first of all, you need to look at causes, to look at the reasons in general, try to discuss them in general. Then you need to support every cause that you have mentioned, every reason with some good examples, and then you can state your most important causes, most important reasons. Now, cause and effect essay assignments typically use the following language. لاحظوا الآن لغة الcause and effect essay. What are the causes of X? What led to X? Why did X occur or happen? Why does X happen? What would be the effects of X? So these are the kinds of questions that cause and effect essay assignments usually answer. So you should, if you want to write a cause and effect essay, you need to ask yourself these questions. What are the causes of something? What led to that action? Why did action happen? And what are the results of things? For example, someone give you an example like define recession and discuss the probable effects a recession would have in American society. تعرفوا شو هو الريسيشن؟ A recession is an economic term, means ركود اقتصادي. So هذا مثال. Define the recession and discuss the probable effects or results a recession would have in American society. Now, this is one of the examples that you can talk about when you write a cause and essay, a cause and effect essay. So you need first to define what recession is, why it happens, what are the results of this recession. So hopefully this point was clear. Also, you need to pay attention to transitions. Now, we have some transitions for showing cause in English, like because and as. Because and as introduce a reason clause. They both answer the question why something happened. Because and as can be used at the beginning of a sentence or in the middle. And you need to pay attention that you have to use a comma after the reason if you start the sentence with because and as. So these are kind of advices and hence how and what you can do, what can you do when you write a cause and effect essay. Two ways of organization. So after we have defined what cause and effect essay means, we're going now to talk about the organization of cause and essay, cause and effect essay. As you can see here, there are two ways to organize a cause and effect essay. First one called block organization, and the second called chain organization. So we have a block organization and we have chain organization. Some topics work better when organized in a block, while others work better when organized in a chain. If the clauses and effects are closely related, it would be better to use a chain organization. We will now talk in depth about each kind of organization. So, what are the two ways of organization? Let us discuss it now. The first type, block organization. And here, in the block organization, you need to discuss all of the causes in one block. Okay, like we say 1, 2, or 3 paragraphs depending on the number of the causes. Then, after you mention all the causes, you can discuss all the effects in another block. Okay? So the first type of organization is to write and discuss all the causes in one block. The block might be 1 or 3 or 4 paragraphs. And then after you finish mentioning all the causes, you need to start with the results. Okay? Let us see a cause and effect structure right here. As you can see here, we got a cause structure words. You need to mention something like the first reason, or the as, or the second cause, and because. All of these are cause structure words. While the effect structure, in the effect structure word, you can use like the first effect, as a result, consequently. So all these words right here indicate that you are talking about a cause structure, while all these expressions indicate that you are talking about a result, an effect structure. And you need to pay attention when you use a semicolon. You should use a semicolon before and a comma after consequently and therefore. So, for example, you need to write this is a semicolon, and after it you should put a comma, the same here and therefore. So all of these are important expressions that you can use in cause and effect structure words. Also, we have something called transition paragraphs. Before we move and discuss the chain organization, let us talk a little bit about transition paragraph. Transition paragraph. In a block organization, a short paragraph often separates one major section from another major section. This paragraph is called a transition paragraph. Its purpose is to conclude one section and introduce another section. You don't always have to write a transition paragraph, but it's helpful when your topic is long and complex. For example, an essay about the global warming might include several paragraphs about the causes and several paragraphs about the effects. With a transition paragraph between the two blocks will help you to turn from one topic to another. So, essays that discuss mainly or only causes or mainly or only effects might have a transition paragraph between the blocks of different kinds of causes or between the blocks of different kinds of results. For example, you might use a transition paragraph to separate the personal effects of our increased life expectancy from its many effects on the economy. So this is actually the benefit of a transition paragraph. We use a transition paragraph, a short paragraph, to move actually to conclude one section and introduce another section. Okay? So here is kind of a theoretically, it's called theoretical background. Let us talk now, let us look at this diagram and let us pay attention to the parts of this diagram. As you can see here, this is mentioned in short, a block style cause effect essay could have many different patterns. some possibilities. Here you have some possibilities are shown below. This is what we call block organization. We have this one possibility. You got the introduction, and after the introduction you have the body paragraph. In the body paragraph, for example, you start talking about the causes. One cause, second cause, and the third cause. Now you're going to, so you're talking about reasons, right? Right here, this block is talking about reasons. But after that you need to show or to write something about the results. So when you want to move from reasons to results, you need to have a transition paragraph. In this transition paragraph, you're going to conclude what has or have mentioned before, and to talk about a new beginning for the like to conclude what you have said and start to introduce what you are going to say again. So these are the major parts of a block organization. You got the introduction, where you mention your general statement and your thesis statement. After that you have the body, where you mention something about the reasons or causes. Then you want to talk about the results, for example. Before you move to talk about the results, you need to have a paragraph to conclude what you have said and to start talking about the results. Okay? Another one right here. You can also, for example, talk about one cause, and before you move to the second or third or fourth, you can put a transition paragraph to talk about the second and third and fourth. And here you can mention at the end the results. And here you can mention the conclusion. Another form right here, we got the introduction. You can mention first in your cause effects, say you can mention after the introduction the effects, then a transition paragraph, and then you talk about the results, the reasons of this effect, of this results. Or you can have kind of a cause essay that only talks about effects. So can you notice now what do we mean by block organization? A block organization, as you can see here, you start talking about, for example, the causes in one block, then you have a transition paragraph. After the transition paragraph, you start talking about what? You start talking about the effects. Or you can talk about all causes, as you can see here. In B, your essay is just going to talk about the causes. At the end, you will have one paragraph for the effects. Okay? Another type of a block organization, that you talk about an effect in the introduction, and then the rest of the essay is going to the rest of the essay you talk about the reasons. Number D, you only talk about the reasons without mentioning any of the results. You talk about the results without mentioning any of the reasons. Maybe you mention one reason, one major reason or main reason in the introduction. So these are four different kinds of black organization. You can follow any of these. Let us look at this paragraph. It's not a paragraph actually, it's a huge passage. And let us read just a few lines from this huge one. This passage just talks about shyness, al-khajal. Well, it says, if you suffer from shyness, you're not alone. For shyness is a universal phenomenon. لاحظوا قرأنا من هنا لحد هنا. If you suffer from shyness, you're not alone, for shyness is a universal phenomenon. So this is kind of a general statement. And if we read the last line of the first paragraph, they say, they have found that shyness is an individual, that shyness in an individual can result from both biological and environmental factors. So as shyness so prevalent in the world, it is not surprising that social scientists are learning more about its causes. They have found, they refers to whom? To the scientist, that shyness in an individual can result from both biological and environmental factors. So the word result here, it shows you that, oh, this passage is going to talk about what? The causes. It talks about the causes of shyness. And it's going to talk about the biological and environmental factors. So it's going to talk about two major parts, the biological and the environmental factors or reasons for shyness. Can you see now what this kind of different kind of essay? This is what we call cause and effect essay. From the beginning, from the introduction, you can define what type of essays you're going to read or write. From the beginning, from the introduction, you can decide what kind of essays you're going to talk about. So, as you can see in this example, we defined words like can result from both biological and environmental factors. Okay, let us move to body paragraph 2 and let us read the first line. The first line says, recent research. Okay, let us just move this a little bit. Recent research reveals that some individuals are genetically predisposed to shyness. So here is one point. It's going to talk about what? It's going to talk about the biological. Genetically is related to biology. Recent research reveals that some individuals are genetically predisposed to shyness. In other words, some people are born shy. هذا معنى genetically. Okay, let us move to body paragraph number 3. However, environment can, at least in some cases, triumph over biology. لاحظوا الآن ذكرت البيولوجي أول شيء في البody paragraph. هنا it talks about biological factors, and the environmental factors is mentioned in the body paragraph number 3. Have you started and understood what the structure of the essay? Have you got the idea that the body paragraphs are predestined in the introductory paragraph? So, as you can see in the introductory paragraph, again, as you can see in the introductory paragraph, we have a thesis statement started with they and ends with the factors. It says that they have found that shyness in an individual can result from both biological and environmental factors. From this, I come to know that the body paragraphs right here are going to talk about what? Are going to talk about the biological factors and then about the environmental factors. وهذا كان مذكور في thesis statement. لاحظوا كيف. So you are so lucky that writers, English writers, are traditional. They have traditions for their writing. عندهم عادات الكتابة نمط الكتابة موحد. We have a thesis statement. It mentions the logical divisions for the body paragraphs. In the body paragraphs, you have to follow this logical division. Okay? So again, this is the biological right here, and here is the environmental. Okay, let us read the last line of the environmental paragraph. On the other hand, okay, let us read the whole paragraph. However, environment can, at least in some cases, triumph over biology. A shy child may lose, this is subordinating details, much of his or her shyness. On the other hand, many people who are not shy as children become shy as adults, a fact that points at environmental or experiential causes. It talks about causes. So what you expect that the following passage is going to talk about the first environmental cause. Let us read. The first environmental cause of a shyness may be a child's home and family. A second environmental cause of shyness in an individual may be one's culture. In addition to family and culture, and هنا حكينا عن الفاميلي. أول cause, environmental cause. The second environmental cause was okay. So the second environmental cause right here. Okay, just kind of. So here we talk about the family, and then here we talk about the culture. Here we've talked about the first environmental cause, which was the family. Here the second environmental cause, it was which is the culture. And here is the third one. In addition, had the transition word, صح? In addition to family and culture, technology may play a role as well. هنا بحكينا عن التكنولوجي. هذا third reason. So here it talks about causes. It talks about reasons of shyness. What cause shyness? How does it cause? How will it to shyness? While being shy has some negative consequences, it has positive aspects too. And here it talks about consequences. اللي هي results. And here to sum up, had the transition word تستخدم y to conclude. So hopefully that you follow up with me. Okay, you follow me up with the the steps with the organization of this cause and effect essay. So, do you understand what we have discussed right here? You need to go back to the block organization and also understand the structure of the cause and effect, the cause and effect essays. Just go back and forth and come here and try to read the first and the last line of the introductory. The first line identify the topic, gives you an idea, general idea about what's the essay is about. Then your thesis statement, it gives you the what the writer is going to write in the body paragraphs, and then you have here the results. After the writer has mentioned 3 causes, he mentions the results and then the conclusion. Okay, now let us read the conclusion. To sum up, shyness has both genetic and environmental causes. هذه الجملة وين شاهدتوها؟ وين لاحظتوها؟ Where have you seen it? So to sum up, shyness has both genetic and environmental causes. هذه كانت موجودة هنا، موجودة في الانترودكتوري paragraph. Okay, let us go together and read these questions and try to answer them. Is the topic, the first question, is the topic of this essay primarily the causes or the effects of shyness؟ بشكل رئيسي، شو يعني primarily؟ بشكل رئيسي. الآن أنا بسألكم، is this essay primarily talks, is it talking about causes of shyness or results of shyness? How many causes it's mentioned? 3 causes. And how many results? 1 result. It discusses mainly the causes of shyness. لأنه هنا حكت عن 1 cause, 2 cause, 3 causes. So it discusses mainly بشكل رئيسي. سؤال ماك انتبهوا للسؤال دائما. Primarily or mainly has the same meaning. Let us move to question number 2. Which paragraphs or paragraphs, one paragraph or paragraphs, discusses or discuss the causes? Which paragraphs, I'm asking you now, discusses the causes? When حكينا paragraphs is going to be paragraph number, this one, 4, 5, and number 6. So let us see the answer. And number 2 actually, right? So 2, 4, 5, and 6. They actually discuss the causes. They discuss the causes. Here it talks about the genetic basis or the biological cause, right? So we're talking about this one, 1, 2, 3, and 4 causes. We have biological, we got a biological, environmental, culture, and then family. After that, the technology. Okay, let us erase all of these and let us actually move to a question number 3. In question number 3, it says, which paragraph or paragraphs discuss the effects شو يعني effects results. Which paragraph discuss the results? يلا. It's going to be number 7. While being shy has some negative consequences, it has positive aspects too. So the answer is paragraph 7. Consequences means results, effects. Number 4. What two subtopics are named in thesis statement? Yeah. What are the two subtopics that is mentioned in the thesis statement? What are they? Biological and environmental factors. These are called subtopics that the author is going to discuss them during or through his body paragraph. So these are the subtopics in the thesis statement right here. Which paragraphs discuss the first subtopic? شو كان أول subtopic؟ كان يحكينا عن البيولوجيكال. أي paragraph it talks about the biological side? This one. So it is paragraph number 2. Paragraph number 2, it talks about the biological factors that cause shyness. Okay? So here it talks about the biological side. So which paragraphs discuss the second subtopic? What is the second subtopic? شو اسمه? Environmental factors. Which paragraph talks about the environmental factors? It is paragraph number 4, 5, and paragraph number 6. Here it talks about the culture, so it talks about the family and home, and here in the second it talks about the culture, and after that it talks here about technology. All of these are called environmental causes. So paragraph number 4, 5, and 6 talk about the environmental causes. So as you can see, paragraph 3 was a transition paragraph. Okay, here we're moving to another question. So it was 4, 5, and 6 are talking about the second subtopic. Okay, number 7. What is the function of paragraph 3? Let us go back together to paragraph 3 and let us try to read what paragraph 3 once it is talking about. Here is paragraph number 1, here is 2. Let me just try to delete this. So in paragraph number 3, right here, it talks about what? This is what we call a transition paragraph. A transition paragraph functions is to conclude what has been mentioned in the first paragraphs, and to conclude with them, and then to start talking about what's coming. So this is what we call transition paragraph. However, environment can, at least in some cases, triumph over biology. هنا حكى عن البيولوجي اللي هو the first factors, the first subtopic, another subtopic. To move to another subtopic, he used the transition, the writer uses the transition paragraph to talk about the environmental. So paragraph 3 is a transition paragraph. It divides the biological from the environmental factors. هنا حكى عن environmental factors paragraph number 2, and the transition paragraph right here, the transition paragraph right here, it actually separate the environmental from the biological. So it separates them. تفصل ما بينهم. Which pattern A, B, C, D does the model follow? Do you remember the 4 patterns we have talked about? Which pattern does this model follow? Actually, it's pattern B. And pattern B, if we go back to pattern B, كان في عنا one cause. خلينا نمسح. Let me just erase this one. لاحظوا هذه الباترن B. في البداية ذكروا في القطعة we have introduction, we have first cause حكى فيها عن البيولوجي، بعدين كان في عندنا transition paragraph، بعدين حكى عن environmental، ومن ثم في النهاية حكى عن consequences اللي هي النتائج. فالبادي paragraph كانت أول paragraph or second paragraph, and then we have a transition word كانت third paragraph. هنا second, هنا first, then هنا تحكي عن 4, 5 and 6 paragraph. The effects was 7, والconclusion كانت paragraph 8. So hopefully that you have found this one, this example very helpful. At the beginning we were actually talking about theories, but now we do it in practice. We have studied cause and effect in practice. الآن كان هذا جانب تطبيقي ممل، يعني دخلنا داخل القطعة حللناها جزء جزء. هذه بنسميها القطعة cause effect essay، وأجبنا عليها الأسئلة الرئيسية هذه. Fill in the box to show the block organization pattern of the essay. Write in the topic of each paragraph and tell whether it's cause or effect. The first 2 boxes have been filled in for you. This statement هذه طبعا just we have it's related to just what we have done. هذه متعلقة بالسلايد اللي أخذناه قبل شوي. This statement can, they have found that shyness in an individual can result from both biological and environmental factors. أول cause ذكره genetics، حكى عن البيولوجي، بعدين حكى transition words، حكينا عن إنه في transition paragraph، بعدين ذكرنا السبب الثاني الثالث الرابع اللي هو موجود في environmental. أوكي، بعدين حكينا عن consequences في الباراجراف رقم 7، وفي النهاية كان في عندنا اللي هي conclusion. Try to go back, try to check and compare. Okay, that was a very helpful example. Some of you may misunderstood, or maybe some of you found this lesson or this class very hard or difficult, but these examples will help you to understand what we have discussed at the beginning. The second type was chain organization. احنا حكينا عن block organization. الآن نحكي عن chain organization. So, in chain organization you discuss a first cause, then the result. A second cause, then the result. A third cause, and then the result, and so on. مش مثل block organization. The block organization, you mention the all results or reasons in one block, and then you mention the other. In chain organization تذكر سبب ونتيجة، سبب ونتيجة، سبب ونتيجة. لاحظوا الآن هذه مثلا structure diagram for the chain organization. عندنا هنا المقدمة تذكر سبب نتيجة سبب نتيجة سبب نتيجة سبب نتيجة conclusion. بغض النظر كم هذه عددهم، ممكن أقل، لكن أنا يعني حابب أنكم تميزوا ما بين التشين organization والبلوك organization. في البلوك كنا نذكر فقط الأسباب في بلوك معين، بعدين نذكر النتائج، أو العكس صحيح. For example, how to fertile land become desert. أول cause, people move into new areas and clear lands for agriculture by cutting down trees. The result, the tree roots no longer hold the soil in a place. Another cause, the tree roots do not hold the soil in a place, effect the topsoil washes away during heavy rains, and so on. فهنا كان يذكر سبب نتيجة سبب نتيجة سبب نتيجة سبب نتيجة. هذا بنسميه chain organization. لاحظوا في هذه الباراجراف the following short essay describes a simple chain reaction. هذا بيحكي عن sadness. The first line, years ago medical researchers identified a psychological disorder that they appropriately named seasonal affective disorder or SAD. هذه كان general statement. طبعا لما نيجي على thesis statement, doctors now understand the causes of this condition which affects millions of people, particularly in the areas of the north, far north, where winter nights are long and hours of daily are few. فالآن هنا عن شو بدي يحكي؟ عن ال causes and the effects. Sad results from one. بعدين بعطينا سبب، بعدين بعطينا result نتيجة، وهكذا سبب بعدين نتيجة. Okay. So in the third one, since absence of light seems to be the cause of the disorder, a daily dose of light appears to be the cure. Doctors advise patients to sit in front of a special light box that stimulates natural light for a few hours every day. In conclusion, the depressive effect of low sunlight levels may help explain the high suicide rate in the Scandinavian countries. Okay, let us just move now together to the question, which paragraph contains the chain causes and effects? It was paragraph number 1. In this paragraph number 1, it actually gives us the chain causes and effects. بعطينا سبب نتيجة سبب نتيجة. What is the effect of decreased sunlight in winter? It's chemical imbalance. What other change results from a decrease in the amount of sunlight? Disturbance in the body's natural clock. What is the final result? It was lethargy, oversleeping. You can find it, all of these answers right here in the conclusion. So hopefully you have got the idea of cause and effect essay. For next time, we'll be having a practical class. I'll bring more cause and effect essays and discuss them in details. Try to take this model, try to read the slides more and more, and understand the theories that we have discussed today. Thank you so much for listening. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.